Valentina Levy, and I'm the curator of saying almost the same thing with Elena Abbiatici here in Label201. This exhibition wants to explore the connection between visual art and writing, starting from the act of writing, that it's formally the same of drawing. We want to discuss also about the difficulty of understanding written word, suggesting the possibility of error in the decoding process of design. So we invited Trahan, Afterall, and Øystein Wyller Odden to explore also and reinterpret the ritualistic conception of the gesture of writing.
My name is Trahan, and I'm presenting two works here for this exhibition. The first one is this blackboard that goes around. It's a translation tree or a diagram, I like to call. I'm starting with one word in French, bouleversement. So I look in the Italian section of the dictionary after the French one, every French equivalent that they give me, and then I go back to. So it's kind of a back and forth, and because the word in another language is no exact translation, most words are, there are some that have an exact translation. So there's always different words that are given, but there's always a slippage in the meaning. So that's why by doing this back and forth like many times, I end up with very, well, as you see, very different words. And then I went around and I finished when I actually arrive at the end of the blackboard. So this word, bouleversement, I chose it mostly because I did a residency in Rome and I was interested in the writings of the futurists, but also in the context in which they worked. So just before the First World War and during and after, it was a time of bouleversement. The other series of drawings I did in Berlin, and I used 7 words from the vocabulary of the Nazis that seemed like the worst for me, or the more terrifying. And I wrote them in a typeface that is a Fraktur, which was used during the Nazi time, but it's kind of an old European typeface that was really linked to the German identity, and the Nazis, of course, made it the official writings of every text that was printed. But then afterwards, they in '41, they wanted to stop using it because they said it was a Jewish typographer who invented it, but actually it's because Adolf Hitler thought that this typeface was too traditional and he wanted something more modern. So I took every letters of each word and I reduced the space between them, so I ended up stacking every letter on each other, and I drew the shape with a graphite pencil, and I wanted to have it as smooth as possible to refer to printing, so it looks like a printed image or word, but you cannot read it anymore.
Il lavoro parte dal ritrovamento di una lettera datata 9 gennaio 1975 ed è una missiva che parte da Brooklyn e indirizzata a Giuliano Di Francesco dell'entroterra napoletano. Questa lettera è stata dettata perché il mittente era analfabeta, così come chi ha ricevuto la lettera, e quindi si fidavano della traduzione delle rispettive figlie, quindi 2 sorelle che comunicano tra di loro attraverso un racconto orale che poi diventa scritto. Noi siamo venuti in possesso di questa lettera e abbiamo pensato di entrare in contatto con essa attraverso un'azione, cioè quella di copiare sui fogli di carta carbone il segno della lettera composta da 4 pagine.
In realtà ci interessava non tanto il significato della lettera, il contenuto, che era un'obligazione tra 2 sorelle, insomma, che siano separate per sempre, ma ci interessava entrare in contatto proprio con il gesto, cioè il segno la grafia, quindi tutta l'azione che c'è alle spalle di questa installazione consiste proprio nell'essere pedissimi servili, nel ricopiare precisamente la grafia di un'altra persona, fino a insomma comporre questo letto di questa coperta di fogli di carta carbone.
Il lavoro stesso ha a che fare anche con la ripetizione. In questa ripetizione può accadere l'errore e per noi l'errore in qualche modo è una possibilità che ci diamo, è una devianza che potrebbe portarci ad altro.
This is my work, everything I've ever written is the title. It's made by a typewriter on one sheet of paper, A4. And I have rewritten everything I have ever written in my life on that paper. From my first ABC, when I was from my first school days, to my BA thesis from the Art Academy, because this was my final year work for the final year exhibition at the Art Academy in Oslo. I had this idea for a long time, and then I started doing it, and I got to the studio every day, worked like 8 hours, and just writing, and it was a very nice way of working without being creative, without being productive in any sense, just putting everything into that black hole. In the garage, I'm making a project for the opening. It's an installation, and it's called Repeat Until Strange, and it's made by using technical equipment common for a living room, like a television, a stereo, and a record player, and all the equipment is running empty, like with no input, no record, so it's a kind of projection of emptiness, but it's also I try to make it interesting sensation, and also to work on the perceptions. It's a bit about repetition. When you repeat a word aloud for yourself, it becomes strange, just a sound. And that's not because something happens with the sound, it's in your mind, it's in the perception. And that's what I'm trying to do with this installation. I try to make this repetition of this nothingness change because your perception changes.